Welcome back to the channel. James Armstrong, 8118. Whole bunch of T-Bird stuff going on around here. And a little bit of family stuff too. But mostly T-Bird stuff. Turd has long, patiently been awaiting for some maintenance and upgrades. Here it is, early April. Racing kicks off at the end of this month. So of course, what better time than to start making some upgrades right before the season starts. My last video saying goodbye to tetanus right there in the background. Yes, tetanus is still here, albeit missing about 5 pounds of rust out of that quarter panel there. Yeah, that burnout tore up those quarter panels pretty bad. Hoping to motivate the younger generation. That's kind of the whole purpose behind this channel. I can't thank you enough for all the kind words. That really, really helps keep me motivated. So keep them coming, all right? Thank you. And it's too bad I already used down periscope as part of the theme behind one of my videos some time ago.
Blow that not so kooky punk back downtown.
Here we are, another amendment to the system. This is an MSD Disc 4 Plus. What does this do? Go fast stuff, I guess. I don't know. Let's see if we can explain this in 1 minute or less. Ready, set, go. Battery, coil, disc, watt box. B plus comes from the battery. Normally it would go straight to the coil. Coil is connected to the disc module. You have 3 circuits. B plus would go to the coil and power the coil. What the watt box does is take your B positive out of the watt box, then stuffs it into the coil, and it cuts this power sporadically to limit your spark. The problem is it cuts all 6 of your spark plugs to try to maintain RPM. That results in an inconsistent RPM when you're on the watt box. MSD B plus is constant. What the MSD does is take your 3 control wires that go from the disc. It goes from the disc here, then it goes to the coil here. So you are controlling the trigger wires that go to the coil. This results in a much more consistent, even spark and a steady RPM while you're activating the 2-step. Turd, although it's been my pride and joy, has not necessarily received everything top notch. There is some frugalness involved in that build, and one of those frugal items happens to be a N2MB watt box. And that's what I'm using as part of the launch control. It's just a little tiny thing that cuts the power going to your ignition coil. It gets the job done, but it's not ideal. The adjustments are pretty basic and vague, and plus you need a laptop, or you can make adjustments to it via blinking LED light, which is a big pain in the rear. We're gonna go to something a little more user-friendly. This disc module, everything can be adjusted on the fly, and I am super excited about that. It's supposed to provide a little more consistent spark and should hopefully help reduce the 6-foot times on this car. I wonder if that means wheelie. This is a plug-and-play kit. However, me being an aviation guru, electrical tape is a big no-go for me, as well as this split loom. This is really handy stuff. It works really good, this nylon stuff. However, on the aircraft, I have found that over time, this stuff deteriorates pretty quick and then just starts flaking apart into bits. We're gonna go through this thing and get it cleaned up. I'm gonna do some reorganizing and rerouting as well. Here we go.
I've seen the field where the fallen lay, heard the silence after the fray, still warm, breath still slow. That's where the strongest learn to know. No fear left in the steps I take, no soul left at the war.
Yeah, it's hard to make this kind of stuff exciting. I could probably cut the time lapse in half if I just went and cut a slit in all of this tape. That's no fun. It's almost therapeutic, you know, finding the end of the tape, which is incredibly hard to do, and unroll it, you know, through every turn, twist, curve. Where are you going? Oh, that's the end of the road for that one. Dang it, I almost had that. Could I save a lot of time, you know, just chopping it off? Sure, but what's the fun in that? Almost as satisfying as popping a big old zit. You ever watch cow hoof trimming? That is good stuff. Talk about satisfying. It's the same kind of thing. You're sitting there, you're looking. I think that's it, but I don't know. No, that's not it. Where is it? It's just this one little piece right there. I think I see you. Oh, man. Oh. 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 Look at that. Isn't that nice? Oh, man, that's satisfying. These are the things that I do. Me. Wiring episode where I removed a bunch of stuff from the car that was 12 or 13 pounds. I would feel like we're going to add back every last bit of that. Okay, 6.5 pounds. That's good. We're in good shape. All right, well, tech tip for today. What we have is a couple of blind holes. These are 2 factory holes in the bottom frame of the glove box, and I want to use these holes to attach some bolts. This metal is really thin, so you can't just thread the hole or anything like that. You can't get to the backside to put a nut on it. So what do? You use a riv nut. Some people call these nut certs, but this is basically a blind rivet that is threaded on the inside so you can put a bolt in there. The most expensive part about it is, of course, getting the tool. They have these at Harbor Freight, and they have metric standard popular thread sizes that you need. Works kind of like a rivet gun. You squeeze the handle here, and when you do that, it pulls that center stud, which in the end crushes your rivet inside the hole. So we got your holes drilled, then we just take our tool, shove it in the hole, give it a squeeze. Come on, baby, it's right out there. We go. Isn't that sick? These things are awesome. I love them. You do need to get the steel ones. They have an aluminum one. Those are not structural. If anything, you know, maybe you could use the aluminum ones for holding on a interior plastic panel or something like that. But the metal ones, the steel ones you get, they are nice and strong. Pretty much they're as good as just using a plain nut on the backside. It's very handy, reasonably priced, and versatile. Ouch. Okay, that hurt. And here's what the backside looks like. They just fold over on the back, and I mean, those are nice and secure. When you tighten the bolt down, they in fact end up pulling a little bit tighter even. So we got everything all fabbed up, ready to pretty much plug and play. All right, we're gonna find out in just a second if I am any good at what I do. I'm using this factory hole in the firewall right here as a mounting point, and of course the 2 mounting points on the back of the dash frame right in here where I put the riv nuts. Well, dang, you might almost think I planned that or something, you know? That's gonna be awesome, dude. Everything up underneath the dash. Why did I mount it up underneath here? A lot of people go for the firewall or the fender. Well, you know, if you look at the install instructions, they want relatively low heat, low vibration, and away from water. So that's where I chose this location. Plus, I can still get to my adjustments here on the fly. I could probably reach from the driver's seat, but if not, either way, you know, if you mount it in the engine bay, you got to get out of your seat. I think it's going to work out just fine. Glove box will still go in there. All right, all said and done. One little bolt up there. I just got a problem with drilling holes through the firewall. I don't want to do it, you know. Call me weird, whatever. That is rock freaking solid. That thing is not going anywhere. You see my little bracket, how it nestles up and over the structure of the dashboard. So that's going to be nice and stout. The install instructions say do not put it in your glove box. So hey, it's not my glove box. You know, why did I use the riv nuts when I can get to these guys? You know, I'm just thinking if I'm at the track or whatever on the road and I got to change out this box, it's one tool, one socket, and everything will come down, unplug the wires, and I can do my service that I need to do. So that's why I went with the riv nuts. But the last step that I need to do, we are getting away from this 2-step box, the N2MB. Cheap version of a 2-step, very cheap. You know, they have some flaws. They're not perfect. Time for this guy to go, and we're gonna integrate our wiring into the new MSD, and all should be well. We'll fire this thing up and see if it works. 2 connectors to interface it into the ignition system. Not that bad. All right, here we go. Attempt number 2. I had 2 of my adapter outputs switched backwards, so she should fire up and run now. I sure hope so. Here we go. Nope. It does. Not running. Okay. 3rd time's a charm. Come on. I tried swapping 2 of the coil wires. Let's see. What do we got? Come on. Nope. Still ain't gonna do it. Yeah, that is. Dang it. Let's think about this here. Okay, last try. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna have to figure out something else, because I'm pretty sure, well, I hope that the TAC adapters were failed. I did confirm, unfortunately, that I improperly connected them for the initial attempt. I don't know if that damaged something in there or not or what, but here we go. Took the adapters out, running straight off the MSD. Hopefully we just have no TAC. Let's go. Ooh. I don't think she really likes that too much. Let's see. No, that ain't right. What is going on here?
I don't need what I can't control.
What is the deal?
You already lost that rule.
She walks the battlefield like she owns my breath.
I walk between the life and death.
Raven Lord, I don't bow, don't bend.
Well,
Even kings, they meet their
fast forwarding through another struggle bus. Yeah, we have a bad module. I mean, hey, you know what? I take a risk. I buy a lot of used parts. Sometimes you lose. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. Real simple. We have a bad module. This thing was made in August of 2014, so I'm sure it's done its time. These are known to fail, and that was my idea around mounting it inside the cabin, away from vibration, away from the heat. Maybe it would last longer, but surprisingly, MSD still supports these. We'll contact MSD. We're going to send this in, and we'll see what happens. I verified it's the module that's bad by removing the TAC adapters, so it should have run without the TAC adapters. It just wouldn't have a TAC, and it still wouldn't run. The timing is really weird. It's almost like it's very, very retarded. I think that's what's going on with the timing here. It's firing so late that it's firing on the way early on the intake of the following stroke. So that's okay, because in the meantime, we got her put back together and got her all washed up today. We have Blair Cruise Night coming up, which is about the biggest cruise in the Midwest, up in Blair, Nebraska. So we're gonna go make some noise up there this weekend, and it's just fine. She's still running and driving, and we'll come back to that one. It's okay. Damn, she looks good, doesn't it? Holy crapola, that looks nice, man.
I watched you rise, I watched you fall. You think you've conquered, but not at all. There's something deeper you haven't faced. Not every war is strength and
You
grace.
feel that pull when I step near. That ain't weakness, that's something real. I don't break men, I reveal what they hide beneath the steel. I don't bend for a voice in the dark. I don't break what's sparking the heart. Everything I am, I built alone. No one stands beside my throne. Or something near, don't feel like war, no blade drawn, but I feel it more like every wall I ever made starts to